It might feel impossible, but you can have both, whether that's spending more time with your family, traveling to a country you've always wanted to visit, or picnicking on a Tuesday afternoon. It's how I've run my 7-figure business for the last near decade and helped thousands of people build their own freedom businesses too, but only because I ditched what's supposed to work. If you're like me, you've probably heard this your whole life. You can always work harder. But that's an unwisdom Arianna Huffington learned the hard way, like waking up in a pool of blood hard. After weeks of working 18-hour days, she passed out and broke her cheekbone. The cause was simple, and it was something you might be dealing with right now. Working so hard on your business that you are completely exhausted, both mentally and physically. But hey, I think most of us make this mistake in the beginning. For example, this is what a typical interaction with my husband looked like in my first year.
Why are you still up? It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm being a little dramatic there, but in the beginning of my business, I was working 100+ hour weeks. What I didn't know then was that by hustling hard, I was actually being less productive. For example, it used to take me 3 hours to write a newsletter to my email list. I would overthink what to say, reread every sentence, and stay up late trying to come up with the perfect copy. But once I clicked send, I'd look at all the tasks I'd still have left to do in my business, and I'd think, how can I possibly sustain my business this way? The truth is, you can't. This is something Serena Williams realized as she was training for the US Open. At the time, most athletes trained by trying to improve all their skills at once, but Serena found a better way. Instead, she focused on one specific area, like her footwork. People were shocked at the drastic improvements in her game. It's also a reason she's one of the greatest tennis players of all time. When you're feeling exhausted, remember that you can do the exact same thing to build your freedom business. For example, when I was still working my 9 to 5, I only had 20 minutes a day sometimes to work on my business. So I focused all my time on just one thing: posting in Facebook groups. I learned that different groups had different vibes, and adding personality to my copy brought better engagement. By focusing on one specific thing, I got a little bit better every day. That's how I made my first approximately $30,000 in sales. But the point is not to go use Facebook groups. This principle applies no matter what strategy you're using. You can do less and grow faster by focusing on the right things. But the only way you can start doing less is with this next step. It's a question to ask yourself when things start feeling really overwhelming. What can I do to start building some systems? For example, my first website was super basic. I had made it myself and it got me to 5 figures. But I also knew that your website can be one of the most profitable sales systems in your business. Because I was still working my 9 to 5 though, I didn't have a lot of time to make my website better. But what I did have was some spare income from my job. That's why my first hire was a web designer. Now, you might be worrying that your business isn't in a place to hire someone yet. The good news is there are so many ways you can delegate, even through just systems. High five to that. One of my favorite ways to do this is through freebies. For example, a friend of mine is an Enneagram coach. So she made a PDF that explains how to find your Enneagram personality type. And it's delivered through a system, a landing page with an email sign up and automatic delivery. After you make your freebie system, you get to focus on just getting people to it, like writing content on your blog that gets found by your ideal clients, or running ads to that landing page. But don't worry, this does not have to happen all at once. In fact, don't try to do it all in the beginning. You need time to establish your reputation and figure out your audience. The key is approaching your systems brick by brick. This way, one step at a time, you will build a business that runs without requiring your constant attention. That's how you systematize yourself out of a job so you free up more time to do the things you love. But when you are ready to hire an actual person, I've got some advice that can potentially save you a lot of time and money. Let's say you need to build a sales system, but you've never done it before, so you hire someone to do it for you. You're investing in something that will theoretically make you more money, aka hiring by ROI, return on investment. But it's so dangerous to hire for a result without understanding how to do it yourself first. It's best explained by a viral fantasy book you might have seen on Book Talk, Fourth Wing. The main character, Violet, attends a cutthroat war college, but she is really bad at fighting. So to win, she starts poisoning her classmates. That strategy works great until she has to fight actual bad guys. Because she cheated her way through school, she's unprepared to succeed in the real world. It's the same thing with your business. You can either use a team to save you without doing the actual work, or you can be a leader who knows how to succeed. Your team simply supports you. It's harsh, but it's true. Everyone would have a successful business if you could just pay someone to do it for you. Instead, I recommend this way. I'm planning an upcoming course launch. In the middle of answering a customer support question, I feel my body tensing up. I'm so overwhelmed. I remember that moment because it was my sign to hire customer support. But some people might scratch their heads at this being one of my first hires. Customer service doesn't have a huge ROI in comparison to, say, a marketing hire. The problem was answering emails was draining all my energy. That's time I could have spent doing things I'm actually good at. That also drives the business the most, like creating more great content. It goes back to something that author Gay Hendricks calls your zone of genius. Basically, the place where your talents, skills, and strengths come together. Because I didn't have to think about customer support, I freed up my time to do the higher ROI things that produce more income. But it's not all about making money. There's a mistake I made when I first started. Anytime I needed a rest, I'd fit it in between work if I had some spare time. Now, I know there is a lot to work on in the beginning, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But it's not sustainable beyond a year or two. You can literally be working on your business 24/7 because there is always more to do. I don't know about you, but I do not want to live my life with that kind of stress hanging over my head. It wasn't until I was talking to my friends who have kids that I found a solution. One of the parents said to me, I actually got more productive after having kids because you have to stop work after 5 p.m. There are little ones to pick up, dinner to make, and you've got to spend time with your family. So you get stuff done more efficiently because you have to. I thought, what would happen if I set really strict guidelines like this for myself? But instead of scheduling what times I am working, I specifically schedule times when I'm not working. For example, every morning I take Falco for a walk. He wakes up super excited and it's so cute. Or when Steven gets home at the end of the day. That's our time to spend time together, maybe watch a TV show. But your schedule also does not need to look like every productivity influencers out there. You get to decide what works for you. For example, I'm a night owl. So if I said I'm not doing any work at night, even though that's when I get my best ideas, that'd be just silly. The key is not to let work sneak into your scheduled time off. That way you really are forced to be more productive when you're actually working. But there's something insidious that can happen, even if you have the best intentions for your work-life balance. Take the ancient city of Pompeii, famous for its amazing olive oil. I'm just kidding. I think we're all familiar with the volcanic eruption that wiped out the entire population. But what you might not know is that the people of Pompeii had warning signs before it was going to happen. In fact, the volcano was spewing smoke for weeks before it erupted. If you want a sustainable business, you need to look out for warning signs in your own life. It might not look like smoke billowing out of a volcano, but it might look like your brain in hyperdrive or a constant headache. You don't want to wait until you have a medical emergency like Ariana Huffington, who worked so hard she passed out and broke a bone. Instead, the best thing you can do for your business is to listen to your body. Because if you don't have your health, you do not have anything else. But if you're still working your 9 to 5 and building your business on the side, I know how impossible it can feel to balance the two. I used to be so scared I wouldn't be able to take care of my family with just my business, but I totally could, and so can you. That's why in this next video, I break down how you can use Tetris principles to help you build your business and leave your 9 to 5 faster. Because you do not need to risk it all to build a massively profitable business. In fact, this way will help you probably grow your business even faster with less risk.